Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. Pipe on the Patio, 2 p.m. edition. This is a response to Kane Rod Piper's Faith Chat Friday. He wants to know why we believe in God. So I'm going to try and keep this one short. I know it's difficult for me to do sometimes, but I'm going to do my darndest here. He wants to know why we believe in God, and I'm going to give you the short answer here. I believe in God because I've seen what He's done in my life. I've seen how He has changed me. I was a angry, broken, miserable man. Full of anger. I'd get so angry that I would literally black out with rage. I had a friend, Eric Bowen, who was a drummer in a band I was in with Tomcat Courtney and the Blues Dusters back in the late 80s, early 90s. I left Tomcat in 1991. Lost track of Eric. Eric moved to Austin, Texas. I lost track of Eric. I searched for Eric for years. Found him in 2002, 2003 on a website, a church website. Now, when I knew Eric, Eric was the last person on earth that I would ever expect to find on a church website. Literally, the last person. When I knew Eric, Eric was, let's just say he was the last person I'd expect to find on a church website. The nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. But I never expected to see him on a church website. Anyway, I emailed him. We got back in touch. We started talking. Started talking on the phone, emailing back and forth. I was miserable. My life was miserable. I was playing music. I was in several different, I'd played in several different bands since Tomcat. Achieved a lot of things musically. I wasn't happy. I was miserable, angry. And Eric was happy. He just seemed really happy all the time. Whenever we talked, he was always happy and upbeat. So one day I asked him, I said, Eric, what's the deal with this church thing, brother? What's the deal with that, man? And all he said to me was, Johnny, I'm a Christian and I'm loving Jesus. And that was all he said to me. He did not preach to me. He did not expound upon it at all. That was all he said. And that was it. We just kept on talking, emailing, calling each other for another several months. Finally, I said to him, I said, Eric, I want what you have, man. How can I get what you have? How can I be happy like you? And he said, pray with me. And so I prayed with him. And And he said, just start reading the Bible, start with John. Just start with John, man, and just start reading the Bible. So I did. And slowly, things started changing. And a friend invited my wife and I to church. We started going to church, and I started being less miserable, less angry, less just the miserable man I was started to go away. I became happier. And it wasn't anything I was doing. It was just that God was changing me. I was being changed. It wasn't anything I was doing. I had just opened myself up to letting God change me. And I saw, after a while, I realized that God had changed me. And I realized then that I believed in God. God had changed me, and it was a real change that came over me. I was not this angry, miserable man anymore. I had been changed, and that's why I believe in God. And it's been a change that has stayed with me. That was 2003, and we're 2019 now, and it's been a definite change in me. And it's been a life change for me. I'm a different man than I was. I used to rage to the point of blackouts over stupid stuff. Somebody would say something, and it would just, I'd black out in rage over something that really was silly, And that's gone now. It's completely gone, And that's why I believe in God. I've seen the change that He made in me. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect man, because I'm certainly not. I still do and say stupid stuff every once in a while, and I do biker ministry now, and I'm an ordained minister. It's a little known fact. And I'm not the kind of minister who preaches. I'm a minister who is a witness. And when I say a witness, I had a friend, Eric Bowen, who was the guy who I talked to, who brought me to the Lord. And Eric never preached to me. And I realized then that God does not need a lawyer to plead His case. He needs a witness, and a witness answers questions. Eric was the perfect person for me. Had he preached to me, I'd have walked away. Absolutely walked away. But Eric just listened, and he was there to answer my questions. And he was the perfect guy for me. And that's the guy I want to be for the people like me, who don't want to be preached to, but who still want to know, who still have that thirst and want someone who will listen and answer questions. And I want to be that witness. I don't want to be the preacher who's you know, beating them over the head. And there are people who need that, who want that, fire and brimstone thing. There are people who need that kind of preacher to get to them, but that ain't me. I just want to be the guy who, if somebody's searching, I want to be the guy they can come to and bounce things off of, and who will listen to them and answer their questions and give them guidance when they need guidance, and be that guy. But that's why I believe in God, because I have seen the change He made in me firsthand. I'm no longer the man I was, and it wasn't anything I did. I did not make that change. I was a miserable wretch of a human being, and somehow I am no longer that man. And I hope that shows, and I hope people see that. And that's why I believe in God. So, Kane Rod, I hope that answers your question. But that's a cool question, man, and I hope other people are answering it for you. I've seen some of the videos other guys have done, and I'm glad that you opened it up to other faiths as well, because I'd like to see other faiths answer to, why they believe in God. And so anyway, I love you guys. God bless each and every one of you. God bless.